Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to address the next step in organizing your workplace, and this is going to be making it official. So if you have already, centralized all of your coworkers around one issue and you feel like you have the support, then you need to make sure that at least 30% of the people that you work with are in support of unionizing. And if you're certain that you have that amount or more, then you are going to go to the National Labor Relations Board website. That's nlrb.gov. You're going to fill out the forms and you're going to submit them. And they actually prefer you do this electronically now, so that makes it a little bit easier, right? And so once you do that, that's when it starts getting dicey. All right, so they are going to send someone out, probably in person, to investigate. All right, they're going to make sure that you have the support. They're going to go over your contracts with a fine-tooth comb and make sure there's nothing preventing collective bargaining within your employment agreement. If you happen to sign something when you were hired that said you wouldn't try to organize or collective bargain, then that gets a little tricky. So there's a lot of things that are really specific to your workplace when they go over this. So you're going to have to do a little bit of digging. You can go onto the nlrb.gov website and you can look at all the stipulations and make sure that they all, line up properly, right? And if they don't, you can see what you can do. So once the NLRB representative comes out, then certifies that it is going to happen, your employer is required to post a notice of petition in the workplace so that everybody in the workplace, not just the people who you've been organizing with, are now aware that you guys want to organize, that you guys want to unionize, right? It needs to be posted in public spaces. If your employer communicates with you regularly through electronic means, it needs to be sent out that way, and this is the law, all right? So at that point, the NLRB representative will try to negotiate and set up a time for you guys to have your vote, because when you're unionizing your workplace, it has to be a democratic majority rules vote among all of the employees. So it's not just the people that you're organizing with, right? It's all of the employees for the company. And that's where it can get tricky when you're talking about organizing big hospitals and things like that, because you have to get all the nurses on board or all the teachers in a school district on board. But if you're in a smaller work environment, then it's a lot easier, right? And then once they have negotiated, and certified that the election is going to take place, then your employer is required to post a notice of election, once again, in all the public places, through the electronic communication, whichever ways that your employer communicates with you, right? And once the notice of election is posted, this is the point in time when, if there is a competing union, they can also come in and try to get in on the election. If one union's contract is about to expire, another union can come in at the same time and say, have a counter offer for the employees. But that's probably not going to happen in your smaller workplaces, right? That's for more large scale or already unionized industries. Trade unions they can get pretty competitive when you have a large construction firm or something. But if it's just you in your office or you at your restaurant or your grocery store, you probably don't have to worry about that. And then once the vote is held, if the majority of the people vote in favor of unionizing, then basically that is the point at which your employer or the employees can contest within 7 days. They can contest the legality or the veracity of the election. And if everything comes out, peachy keen and nobody has any valid complaints, then your union is certified and it is registered with the National Labor Relations Board. And at that point, if your employer fails to negotiate with your union collective bargaining, then that becomes an unfair labor practice and they are now in violation of labor laws. So it is a simple process, but the way it gets tricky is when you have an employer who is very anti-union or you have coworkers who are very anti-union. And that's where we see things like Amazon come in, right? A lot of people have asked me what's going on with the Amazon employees who are trying to unionize, especially in Alabama, where they have basically the whole facility is ready to unionize. They're caught up in the petition process, because like I said before, you have to have 30% of the employees supporting the call for the vote to unionize. And right now there are like less than 2,000 employees at the facility, and pretty much all of them are in favor of unionizing. But Amazon has come back to the Labor Relations Board and said, well, actually, this facility has a capacity of 5,000 employees. So technically, and I mean, they're kind of trying to play with the numbers and like the tiniest little technicalities. The National Labor Relations Board is currently not having it. They have not like accepted this like invalidation of the petition, so they're caught up in this like struggle back and forth right now, where the employees are like, you're full of baloney basically, and Amazon's like coming up with anything they can, of course, right? And during that time also, the employees are being hit with counter union propaganda, basically, because well, I can go into this at a different time, but basically a lot of the new Supreme Court decisions that have come down around organized labor say that your employer is free to like assail you with anti-union propaganda, especially if you're trying to unionize. They're allowed to like make counter offers and tell you, oh, if you don't organize, we'll do so and so better. But there's obviously no guarantee unless you have something in writing with an employer, so don't trust them. All right, so that's that, and I hope that was helpful. See you guys next time.